How certain does a witness have to be before the police check whether they might be wrong, I ask, because the witness who identified me told the officer who took her statement that she was 100% certain. She said it twice. She said the man she had seen was wearing a black puffer jacket. She described his build. She said she had looked directly at his face. She said, completely sure. I was on CCTV at a petrol station 2 miles away. At the time, she said this happened. The footage existed. The timestamp was clear. The petrol station was 2 miles and 11 minutes from the location of the offence. I had paid by card. The transaction was on my bank statement. Nobody checked. The officer who took her statement noted her certainty in his report and proceeded to identify a suspect based on her description. The description was young black male, black puffer jacket, medium build. I am a young black man. I owned a black puffer jacket. I am of medium build. I was arrested on a Thursday morning 2 weeks after the incident outside the college where I was studying for my A-levels. My bag was on the ground beside me when they put the cuffs on. It had my coursework in it. I was going to hand it in that afternoon. The retention anchor. The actual offender was caught on the same CCTV network I was on, at a different camera, 14 minutes before my petrol station transaction. The footage was in the police system. It had been reviewed as part of the original investigation. It showed a man in a black puffer jacket. It did not show me. The reviewing officer had noted the footage as showing a person matching the suspect description and had not pursued whether the person shown was the same person as the person subsequently arrested. 2 pieces of footage, 1 system, 1 investigation. Nobody connected them. My name is Marcus. I was 17 years old. I had never been arrested. I had no criminal record. I had a predicted 3 A grades and a conditional offer from a university I'd worked for 3 years to get to. The arrest happened in November. The trial was scheduled for March. The 4 months between those 2 dates were 4 months I spent on bail, unable to travel, attending check-ins twice a week at a police station, watching the conditional offer sit in my inbox like a question I was not allowed to answer yet. My solicitor was a woman called Frances, criminal defense specialist with the specific fury of someone who recognized within 48 hours what had happened and was not prepared to be patient about it. Frances said, "There is CCTV of you somewhere else at the time of the offence. We need to find it, and we need to find it before the prosecution has finished building a case around a witness identification." She said, 100% certain from a witness who saw a young black man in a black jacket is not evidence. It is a description. Those are different things. The petrol station footage was obtained within a week. Frances submitted it to the prosecution with a formal request for disclosure of all CCTV reviewed during the investigation. The prosecution disclosed the additional footage, the footage showing the actual offender, 2 weeks later, with a cover letter describing it as supplementary material. Supplementary material. Footage showing a different person committing the offence I had been charged with was described as supplementary to a case built on a witness saying she was certain it was me. Frances refused to accept the framing. She made a formal application to dismiss the charges on the basis that the prosecution's own disclosed evidence undermined the identification. The application was heard by the trial judge in February. The midpoint of this story is the judge's response to Frances's application. He did not dismiss the charges. He said that the CCTV evidence raised significant questions about the identification and that those questions should be put before a jury. He declined to rule that the prosecution had no case. Frances said, "That is not the right answer, but it is not the worst answer. We go to trial and we make the jury do what the judge would not." The trial lasted 2 days. The witness gave her evidence. She remained certain. Frances cross-examined her on the specific facial features she had observed and the lighting conditions at the time and the distance from which she had seen the person. The witness's certainty did not waver. Certainty, Frances said to the jury in her closing, is not the same as accuracy. A person can be completely certain and completely wrong. The question is not how sure she is. The question is whether the evidence supports what she believes. She put the petrol station footage beside the footage of the actual offender. 2 different people. Same type of jacket, different faces, same time, different locations, one of them me. The jury acquitted in 90 minutes. The partial win is the acquittal. The partial loss is the 4 months. The conditional offer had a deadline. I'd missed it by the time the acquittal came. The university reinstated it after Francis wrote to them explaining the circumstances, but the deferral cost me an academic year. The officer who conducted the identification procedure without checking the CCTV was subject to an internal review. The review found that the procedure had been conducted within existing guidelines. The guidelines, Francis told me, do not require officers to verify CCTV availability before proceeding with a witness identification. Francis has submitted a formal recommendation to the relevant oversight body that the guidelines be updated to require it. The submission is under review. I am in my first year now. I handed in my coursework on time. The bag is the same one I was carrying when they put the cuffs on outside the college. I kept it because getting rid of it felt like accepting something I do not accept. The witness was certain it was me, she was wrong. Those two things can both be true, and they were both true in this case, and the law spent 4 months treating one of them as if it were evidence. That is the part that stays with me. Not the acquittal, the 4 months of the law treating certainty as evidence. I want to know how many people it has done that to who did not have the petrol station footage. I suspect the number is not small.